freedom, liberty, and equality. Let the means justify the ends, and the ends justify the means. A man without freedom and autonomy is not a man. A woman without freedom and autonomy is not a woman. Those subjected to cruelties that allow them deserve the cruelties they get. Last one rings most true. Those that are subjected to cruelties and allow them deserve the cruelties they get. Now, a lot of people have been asking me what's going on in New Zealand and to a lesser extent Australia, but I think that's due to my accent. Well, apart from ridiculous price hikes in food that barely actually affect me, they do affect me, but not as much as you might think. Oh no, I have to have chicken instead of beef. That gets monotonous. Like, after this whole thing, I don't think I'm going to eat chicken ever again. Or at least it's going to be a number of years. But our government is pushing for mandatory vaccinations for a whole number of work sectors, essentially any form of common industry. Mandatory, no choice in the matter. You lose your job otherwise. You're denied the ability to earn food, water, and shelter. Now, for various reasons, that doesn't affect me, but it does affect other people. That's what it's turning into. The government is psychologically terrorizing. They are terrorists. They are psychologically terrorizing the public into conformity to their will over the public's will. Like the likes of Jacinda Ardern's, one of her role models, Joseph Stalin. Well, I imagine that would be one of her role models because that was the man that most followed the communist mandate when employed as a political system. Now, hear me out. I've stated before on my channel, as an individualistic idea, communism, socialism, and even Nazis, as an individualistic ideas, can build an individual great. Does not mean they are good for societies or communities, because they are genocidal maniacs when it's done on a large scale. Just how the current formulas sit. If you change the formulas, you'd change the results, but you'd change what it is. Like the current formula for communism is completely flawed because it doesn't equate for large-scale masses. So communist ideals like forcing the populace into any medical program against their will leads to really nasty results. Evidence. People ask for evidence all the time. Well, I'm asking you to find evidence yourself, but I will provide you the things to look up, because the evidence, because I promote self-thinking, is look at China's forced medical mandates on the populaces. Things like forced abortions. Yeah. Now, how it's written on paper and how it's being applied are actually two different things, in fairness. But how it's applied, because that's the only way to follow it on paper, is governmental officials, in order to save them and their family members, are forcing people a very late-term abortions, such as after the mother's given birth to the child. Yeah. You know, not human for the first 3 days. That's all right, isn't it? You know, because it's for the greater, the ends justify the means, of course. You know, the populace needs to be lesser to make it more manageable for the government, so people can have food, water, and shelter more regularly available. So if you slaughter a bunch of people, like animals, cull them off with no purpose or means to it, of course, if you're looking at only the end result, that works out perfectly fine. The ends justify the means. I keep hearing that one all the time. They don't. You need the means to justify the end, to justify the ends, and the ends to justify the means. That's unfortunately how it is. You cannot, but yet again, you cannot blanket statement something and expect it to work as a policy, because it doesn't. Now, in my country, they are looking at and seriously getting suggested by Jacinda Ardern herself. The media did seem to have some resistance at one point to copy the same ideas Australian media is pushing on the government of gulags or concentration camps. Imprisonment of large parts of the populace because they're refusing a forced and mandatory medical treatment that actually has killed more people in my country than COVID. Yeah. We've actually had hundreds of deaths from the vaccine, and the number is going up. Sounds scary. No, that's not scary. That's just statistics. That is just statistics. Every vaccine, after a certain number of people are vaccinated, will have a death, because you can't equate for every possible reaction. So, good things like polio, mumps, and smallpox, vaccines that have been around for a while that, help treat people and help people out, do have these problems. There is a certain percentage of people that die from it. That's acceptable losses. As harsh as it is, when you think about numbers, games of people saved and not saved. So I'm not saying the COVID-19 vaccine has killed an unreasonable number of people. It's actually killed a surprisingly low number of people in my country. Surprisingly low. The vaccine so far seems safe. However, this vaccine, it has hit the market so fast that the vaccines prior to it that have hit the market so fast have normally been complete failures within a few months. Now, and saying that, and that is actually looking quite positive at the moment. Like, what numbers are being produced from it do look positive. So, you can't say that I'm going, I'm against it or I'm for it. I'm saying, give it 5 years and I'll look at the statistics properly outside of a mass panicked and hysteric state, and I'll decide then. We don't have any issues with COVID in my country at the moment. We don't. Simply put, we don't. We've had a few sporadic, minor, isolated groups affected. Mostly in the North Island. I live in the South Island. We don't have an epidemic in this country. The COVID epidemic in this country is non-existent. There is not enough people affected by it for it. In America, it's arguable whether or not it's an epidemic if their numbers are correct. But it leads to a further thing. Like, the mass populace are suffering from Peter Pan syndrome, the kids that never grew up, SJWs, what have you. It's like the people and the mostly people my generation and younger, mostly, some very immature older people are doing it as well, where they are choosing everything to be divided over. They want to create divisions in race. It's been a long time to create unity in race, but we want to create divisions in race. Check your privilege, check your white people privilege, because that's obviously not a statement that's going to lead to racial divisions. Did you know if you make one race afraid of another race, it creates a racial division, and then you naturally have results like in World War II with the Nazis? The Nazis actually may have been an inevitability, because the politics at the time was pushing a racial divide. Or if you start blaming one group of people, let's say you're blaming white people for all the world's problems, you get results like what happened with Joseph Stalin. Some of the largest genocide recorded in Europe. He may have even beat Vladimir the Impaler. He certainly beat Adolf Hitler by numbers of times, but, people getting promoted to join communist groups in universities. Yeah, they're getting promoted to join hate groups in university. And people get called people that live hate groups for some cool words. But the media is pushing it. Yeah, the media. Well, we don't have media anymore. The things that guise themselves as media. But then we have a bunch of people trying to be children that are keen on it because they don't like responsibility. Well, no one likes responsibility. Well, actually, no, fuck it. I like responsibility. I like being responsible for my own fucking life, no matter how fucked up my life is. Why? Because I fucking enjoy not having to go, government, can I go outside and hang out with my friends and play? Why? It's not the government's job to fucking dictate my life. I'm an adult. They don't dictate, they're trying to, but they shouldn't be able to dictate my medical treatments. I'm an adult. Unless I'm a danger to the public. It's like, as an adult, sound enough of mind to be deemed allowed to look after themselves, I should be allowed to do whatever the fuck I want. It's just how it is. But then you have other people that claim to be adults. They are my age, but they're not adults. They go, well, the government should tell us to put out our recycling bins, and in that way we don't have to be responsible for the environment, because it's all Mummy and Daddy's fault. Now Mummy and Daddy give me some money. And then they go around bored all day or in childish ways go, oh, you used a bad word, that's a trigger word, now we can't be friends, and I'm going to encourage everybody to be against you, because that's social justice. Makes me feel important for my, insufficiencies and lack of personality, I guess. That's how they go. And then you have people in the occult community. They go, oh, well, I was fucked over by the Christians, metaphorically, but normally literally. Literally. And now I'm against all Christianity. It's like, I understand you having some hatred towards them, but a lot of Christian people do a lot of good. They just do. I consider it delusional as fuck going after being part of a Semitic religion, but yeah, call me anti-Semitic. I'm anti the Semitic religions. The Semitic peoples I'm okay with. The people. You know what? At the end of the day, I'm friends with Christians, I'm friends with Hindus, I'm friends with left-hand path Satanists, I'm friends with Luciferians, I'm friends with other animists, I'm friends with, I can't even fucking remember all the different groups I'm with. Why? Because I have an attitude of, your religion is interesting. I can probably learn a lot from it. It is not my religion. I don't care about that. I care about the overall content of their person. I care about the content of your character. I don't agree with racism on any levels. I'm not opposed to sitting down and having a civilized conversation with a fucking communist or a Nazi. I'm not. As long as they're not an extremist. If they're an extremist, yeah, they can go fuck themselves. Seriously, if they're an extremist, they can fuck off. YouTube doesn't promote telling people to go blow their own brains out. But I might promote that to them. Metaphorically, not literally. However, I can honestly say I wouldn't care if they did, if they're an extremist. Like, ISIS and a lot of Islamic groups now are very much extremists. A lot of Christian groups are extremists. Left and right media are extremists. All media that is presented nowadays are from extremists, dangerous, murderous extremists. You only have to look up at the Floyd George riots to find out what murderous extremists they were. And before you go, oh, Black Lives Matter was a political movement. No, it wasn't. It was a bunch of fucking murderers. It was a bunch of fucking rapists and murderers. They didn't achieve anything apart from steal goods from small businesses in a stressed time. That's all they achieved. Oh, no, actually, no. What they achieved was creating a racial divide and made more white supremacists and more black supremacists. That's what they did. Congratulations. Black Lives Matter created a bunch of extremist racists. Why? Because people were scared of it. Yeah. I'm calling them out for being bad people. What do you do with bad extremists? Well, you send armies in to stop them. It's the only way. You can only hold them back, but you do. You don't hand them over, entire countries. That would be fucking insane. It would be a sign that you were mentally unfit to do any form of leadership if you did that. You don't turn around and blame the previous administration either. You do have the right of veto. But what I'm getting at is everybody's all about division. Racial, religious, political, ideological division. And I've been sitting on thinking about this for a while, but I've finally been encouraged by two of my friends at the moment. I won't mention them in the video because I'm not sure if they would like me mentioning me mentioning them in this video, because I put out a lot of trigger flags so far that can get any channel removed and associated channels. But fuck it. Because I'm saying, all these people with divisions. Now, do you know what? I want you to go out there, find somebody you don't agree with all their opinions, sit down and talk with them, and find common ground. Yeah, that's all. You know what? Left-hand path magician, I want you to talk to the right-hand path magician and go, hey, we have fundamental differences of beliefs. Now let's discuss them, and then we can discuss points that we both believe in, and when the topic starts to get too much for either one of us, and we can slowly desensitize ourselves to the point where we can sit down and realize we're just people trying to achieve what's best by our beliefs. We can sit down and find common ground. We can start going, united we stand, divided we fall. I want a Satanist to sit down and talk to a Christian. You know what? I have sat down and spoken with a Christian that is firmly against any form of occult magic. Firmly against it. Multiple Christians, in fact. Like, they would look at my practice and go, holy fucking whoa! They wouldn't blaspheme because they're very Christian. They wouldn't go, God fucking damn it. But if there wasn't rules against it, they fucking would. In fact, a couple of them would without blaspheming. They would mean it. But we sit down quite regularly, in fact. We talk. The discussion is more along the lines of, I want to achieve good for people. You want to achieve good for people. We both want to achieve good for people. That's it. We both want to achieve good for people. This is how I believe is best. This is how you believe is best. And this is how we both can combine it. If you hear howling in the background, the fire sirens have gone off and my dog wants to get into a howling competition. I'm going to have to disappoint him at this moment. But yeah. Like, there's so much division in the world. It's like, you know what? It does wear on my mind and make me feel bad. And that makes me remember things that make me feel bad. It does. Because everybody is like, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, because it's easier than saying, let's just be people. That's why I have a group online that I am going to be moving it over to Discord at some point, but I have a group online called the Illuminati. It's on Skype. If you prefer my Discord group, I'll figure out how to put the link in the chat. But yeah, you just have to look me up on Milton Knowles on Skype. Same logo as my channel, and you can find me, and yeah, I can hook you up with it. It's not a very active group anymore, but we accept everybody of any belief to discuss anything. Like, fucking hell. Like, the main point of conversation at the moment between me and one of my friends in there is, quite frankly, we were discussing funny words. We, discussed the hypothetical of a consciousness being transferred to a chocolate cake along the grounds of animism. At what point would that be a horrible thing to eat the chocolate cake, regardless of whether or not you would, because you still have to eat food. But yeah, it was just for a laugh. Well, that's how ridiculous it can get. Other times we discuss the existential ramifications of whatever the fuck we want to discuss, or it goes light-hearted to serious to, we even discuss our own fucking problems. It's, truly it's camaraderie and friendship. And we have various beliefs. There's fucking edgelord left-hand path. There's an edgelord left-hand pathist that's, okay, he's kind of confused as fuck about where to go, to fucking a person that was studying ceremonial magic that's moving on to other things. And, we've got Hindus, we've got animists. Actually, the only thing we don't have in the group is Christians. But hey, there's opportunities in the future. Why? Because I want people of all religions, creeds, races, backgrounds, ideas, all ideas. I don't care about anything else, just the ideas being shared. It's good. Now, I don't know if many people want that. I'm gonna figure out how to put a link to my Discord and a link to my Skype in the chat. I'll just stick it in the chat. I might have to come back to this video later, but yeah. Why? Because I'm encouraging you to decide to talk to everybody of every belief, just to hear their ideas, just to come up with some camaraderie and friendship. And I'm encouraging you to do that, and I'm encouraging you to encourage others. Because we have too many people encouraging divides. Honestly, I don't care if you're a Trump supporter or a Biden supporter. Personally, I think Joe Biden did some singularly reprehensible things to the Middle East that is only done by genocidal maniacs. But you as an individual, I don't care if you're a Trump supporter or Biden supporter. I don't care if you support Jacinda Ardern. I hate most politicians. But I don't care. We can sit down and talk about the pros and cons. Yeah. Why? Because you're a valuable person. Your ideas are valuable, and to an extent, as valuable as mine at least. We can talk. Okay, we might have a heated discussion. Okay, give it 20 minutes, calm down, apologise, and have another discussion. Don't hold, a heated argument takes two sides to have an heated argument. You might go, oh, that person's in the fucking wrong. They're going, the same person is going, that person's in the fucking wrong. Do you want to hear the thing? Yeah, probably both are. Doesn't really matter what you're arguing. Like, you can argue scientific fact all fucking day, and the thing is, in 15 years' time, it's going to be completely fucking different. Because scientific fact is pliable. It's based off information we have currently. Yeah. like at one stage they thought once he severed the head, it was no longer possible to preserve life. Experiments a horrible piece of shit in Russia did prove the fact that, well, actually you can revive the head and theoretically keep it alive as long as you can keep fresh blood going to it, keep the blood sterilized and provide oxygen to the blood. At least with dog heads. It's not a nice thing to do. Alright? We can discuss how interesting it is, or we can discuss how horrible it is. Yeah. But I know I don't have many subscribers to my channel. I'm not keen on subscribers personally. I like to keep around 100. I'm not saying don't subscribe, I'm just saying subscribe if you're interested, don't if you're not. But I'm saying I have a Discord group. We're just showing pictures how we, to try to demonstrate how we feel mostly at the moment. Because that's a fun exercise. It's a process of intellectual thought and actually gives a number of self-realizations to the point where I'm thinking of taking a break from it personally. We'll see how I feel later on tonight. But yeah, I'm just saying I'm going to put the links to my Discord down in the chat. I tried putting it in the little bar thingy below, but it didn't like me doing the copy and paste. And yeah, I encourage you to invite everybody to my Discord too. Everybody, any reason. If they're no good, I'll kick them out. The point of it will be mostly conversation. I want to be on it. Yeah, send a few texts, but if you really want to be on it, it's there for conversation. Any day or night, any time, day or night. There's nothing so more important in my life than having good intellectual conversation. No. Yeah, apart from family, no, there's nothing more important. You know what? If you're having good intellectual conversation with the right people, they're family. Full stop. That's how family works. But anyway, just remember these things. United we stand, divided we fall. It was only the united forces of many nations that built the greatest wonders of the world today, moving entire mountains worth of stone to create the pyramids. Whether or not they were forced into it is besides the point. It was only through the unity they actually achieved it. And in a way, they did achieve an immortality. Their civilization will not be forgotten, but ours probably will.